All right, hello again, everybody. This is yet another video in the Orientation 2021 series being done by the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work for all of our students. Today, we have our liaison librarian, Mr. Adrian Duncan, who is with us. He will be explaining the services that the Mona Library has for us. So take it away, Mr. Duncan.
Thank you so much for having me. So, the library in this pandemic is offering numerous revamped and introducing new services for our students. As is evident on our screen, all this information is available through the library's website. So let us start off. We will start by introducing you to the library's website itself. The library website is the conduit for all updated information about and from the library, including about its services and the resources that we offer. We have quick links on our website that offers efficacy in accessing librarians as well as librarians' resources. We have an Ask a Librarian instant messaging chat that is manned by a library staff, capable library staff, who is so tasked to assist with the various levels of queries that you would have, including but not limited to library usage, borrowing material, as well as accessing the various resources, including our Chromebook, tablets, and other electronic devices here at the Mona Library. Two, we have useful tutorials, meaning we have pre-recorded sessions for students on various topics, including but not limited to library usage, library services, as well as referencing. We also have access to child databases, as well as other electronic databases that are staples on our offerings to you, our valuable clients. Our child databases sometimes are for the duration of the semester, some are shorter, some are longer. As time progresses, we indicate to the respective students and the departments how long the period is for and what databases they have access to. As it currently stands, there are several databases that we have access to free. We have been circulating and we will be circulating more in the coming days. Reprographic Services Unit, or RISU, as it is affectionately called, is the library's unit that is responsible for photocopying, for digitizing material and or scanning material and making it available to staff and students. So if it is that a student would require the services of RISU, they could send an email to reference.library@uwmona.edu.jm. This information will be presented to you in the chat and sent to your lecturer, with indication as to what it is that you would like for them to do, meaning if you would require them to print a document for you, if the request is to photocopy something for you, these will be done, processed, your requisite receipts will be placed in your folder, and they will be made available to you through curbside pickup. And since we're on that curbside pickup, any request that you or valuable students have, we are able to process them. Meaning you can just simply send an email to that same email address that I sent a while ago, or to a respective branch, indicating the material that you are wanting to borrow, and they will check it out on your ID, they will package it for you, and they will, based on the time that you stipulated, make it available for collection at our respective curbside pickup locations. Currently, one is located at the Law Branch Library, Science Library, the Medical Library, and of course, one is located at the main library. Another thing to note here, if you have an outstanding material for the library presently, the library is running an amnesty. So until the 31st of July, students are given the opportunity to return all material borrowed, and no overdue charges will be allocated to your account. If an overdue charge is allocated to your account, we're kindly asking for you to indicate same to us in an email to the public services team, and they will be more than happy to remove that charge from your account. So let us say that again. The 31st of July, 2021, you have the option of returning all material to the library without a penalty for overdue charges. All charges will be waived. So let's just get into the resources of the library. UWI. I'm sure you're familiar with UWI, but let us go over it again. UWI, it's an acronym for University of the West Indies Library Information Connection. This is the portal that gives access to all the holdings of the University of the West Indies. So let us be clear. As long as you want information from the university, generally, not just Mona, for all campuses, you can go on to the UWI platform and you can access it. I will show it to you in a few minutes. Before we leave here, there are opportunities for students to get greater assistance. Students can send an email to Milieu and or any librarian asking assistance with research, meaning if it is that you want somebody to assist you with locating articles, then library and library staff will be more than happy to assist you with gaining knowledge on searching our databases, as well as assisting you on finding articles. For the session today, I will be taking you through our resources. So under the resources tab on our page, if you're following on our screen, under the resources tab on our page, we will select electronic databases. Electronic databases, for the purpose, is to highlight to you students the authoritative databases, scholarly databases, databases that host scholarly and authoritative information for you to use in your respective papers. And I know you're grad students, so you would appreciate authoritative information. I'm sure your lecturers would be more than happy if you have this information in an up-to-date format. The library makes this available to you through our various subscriptions with our electronic databases. So we're on our electronic databases pages now. You can choose to do one of two things. So this is one route to get to databases. And this is for persons who are au fait, meaning fully aware of using our services and are aware of the various databases that are available here. So if you do know of these databases and the name of these databases, you can just go ahead and put the name of the database in the search window here, and it will pop up. For the purposes here, for this first demonstration, I will select Emerald. Emerald Insight is a multidisciplinary database. So persons within the departments of sociology, psychology, social work, and the human resource development program, this is a database that would host information for you. Once you double click, it will take you to our authentication page and a simple click of advance. And let us, for the purposes of persons who are not fully aware of why we have this here, this authentication page, it makes the difference between a university student and a person who is not authorized to access our resources. As we're aware, these databases are not cheap, so the university cannot make them available to the entire population, only to students that are registered within the respective programs here at the university. We click advance, and then a link will come here that says proceed to. It is not a virus. You can click it, and I can assure you that it will not affect your computer. When you click it, you possibly might have to do it more than once. And when you click it, it should take you directly to the respective database. If you are not logged in to UWI, then I'm kindly asking for you to input your student ID number and your password to get access to the database. Once that information is correct, then voila, you will gain access to our database or to that respective database that you ask off. So this is one route to get you to the databases, notwithstanding the fact that you are already aware of the name of that database and or the existence of same. So this is, we will be searching, but I'm just showing you the route first. So this is route 1 to get to Emerald. For those who are not so au fait on the navigation routes, let us do the next one. So we'll close this window here, and I'll take you back to this page. So from the libraries page, I'm navigating, and please let me know if you are fully aware and or would need us to go over any point. UWI is
one question. So this is the page that if we went to the UWI website and clicked UWI link, we would come to this page.
Yes, once you are on the library's website and you click the UWI link that was in the corner, it takes you directly to the UWI link platform. A while ago, you realized that we signed in, so you will be required to sign in to UWI link to gain access to these databases. You will not be required to sign in specifically to a database on its own. Once you have authenticated yourself as a UWI student with a registered ID number and password, you will gain access. As you are seeing on the front of your screen, this is the new and revamped interface for the UWI link platform. Kudos to our tech team for this. Now, it is much simpler. There's a huge search window, a Google type search window that you are familiar with on the page. If you need anything inside of UWI link, meaning a book from the library, you can input that data here. So for the purposes of display, we will show you that. But to get to the point that we're making first, I'll show you the route that we were on to get you to the databases. And under Finding UWI link, we have 3 categories here: ebooks, e-journals, and databases. When you click databases, a new window will pop up. And please let me know if you're seeing my new window.
Yes.
So a new window will pop up, and you realize it subdivides, asking you the name, the publisher, the keyword, and then an alphabetized listing of all the databases that are available here at the Mona Library. So if you are not aware of the database and you want a particular subject area, we can put the subject terms here, and it will guide you to the databases that would hold such information. If you are aware of the publisher of this database, then you can put that information here, and all the databases that were created or published by that publisher will populate here. Similarly, the name of the database, once you put it here, you'll get it. But if you don't want to go that route, we can click A, and all the databases with the name A, you should have access to it. We will double click here for Academic Search Complete, another multidisciplinary database that you in the departments of sociology, psychology, and social work and human resource development program would be using for your program. And please let me know if the screen, this new window, you are seeing the new window for my Academic Search Complete.
Yes.
Wonderful. So I just go and dig this up. So just to refresh, there are 2 routes to gain access to the library's electronic databases. 1, directly from the library's page, as we saw earlier. 2, this one where we gain access through UWI link. So ultimately, we start at the library, go to UWI link, and then we segue into the database. So welcome to EBSCO host. This is EBSCO host, Academic Search Complete and Ultimate. For the purposes of your paper,
We're still seeing that. We haven't clicked it yet, have you?
I have, but let me see if something is. Stop sharing and share this new screen. There we go. Let me know if you're seeing it now. You're seeing EBSCO host as we.
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. So this is EBSCO host.
strategic human resource development could be a topic to search for.
Thank you so much for that. Strategic human resource development. And I will click search. If you guys realize there was predictive searching here, meaning predictive text. So once we started to input data a while ago, once that phenomenon, once that keyword, once those subject terms are inside the database, it automatically highlights it for you and suggests to you. You just need to click it. Based on strategic human resource development, the terms that we're using, and let me point out, if you realize that I had caps lock here and then before I had a common S, that did not affect me gaining access to the respective material. So it's not case sensitive. We have from strategic human resource development 578 hits results from our search. Some are going to connect, meaning they are going to be 100% based on what you want. Some you will need to read through to decide if it is. All right, so 578. It's not possible for you to go through that in a few seconds. So what we are saying to you is you can employ various Boolean operators and limiters too. On the left here limits what is on the right. All right. So I will show you how to limit your search from 578 to at best what you can digest in bite size. All right.
Yes, full text and scholarly peer-reviewed journals.
All right, thank you so much. So, like I indicated, we have expanders and we have limiters. Oftentimes, as you rightfully asked for, we want full text and we want scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Once you select from the listing in terms of your limiters, it automatically updates your screen. So, with limiting it to full text only, we had 291. You did not want full text only, you wanted as well scholarly peer-reviewed journals. So let me click scholarly peer-reviewed and see how much we will get now in the results listing. We have 131. Wonderful, so we're getting somewhere.
Yes, I'm thinking any essay that you write with 131, well, this one looks as if it's in Russian or something, so I think we would have to reduce that even more.
Yes, yes. So further to the reducing, we can start at a date period. Oftentimes, it is preferred that students get articles that are within 5 to 10 years gap or current. So from 2020, we'll go back 5-10 years. So that would take us to 2010. Let's go 10 years. And we're now updating for 10 years gap for all the articles that were published in the last 10 years. We have 58. So from our narrowing of 131, we have 58. More digestible than the 131. If it is that you desire to go a little bit further, like we indicated earlier, one language there is not English. So we can choose to limit the results to only English. Let me have a disclaimer there. Sometimes these articles, we can translate them online. So it might be an article not in English, but it speaks volumes to what you're looking for in a respective topic. So I would recommend gaining access to all articles and trying to translate some of them. Some will be translated for you based on the nature.
How do we know? I mean, I don't read Russian, so how am I to know
So
that this? Okay.
let me
How
go
am I
on
to
the
know
Russian.
that this is an excellent article for me?
All right, wonderful. So initially we are giving a preview of what the article is about. There are subject terms that highlights what the article is about. There is also a PDF here. So we can choose to view the PDF, we can choose to view the HTML version of it. A quick look on the article itself without going to the PDF will give us an indication as to what the article is about and or the language it was written in. The article title is in Russian. However, the abstract is also presented in English. So you can choose to go, and there's also 4 persons who are so skilled in Serbian, they can read that as well. So sometimes the articles will give you alternative language versions to it. In this case here, we're seeing that, yes, we could go a little bit further and we could get information from the article in English language, even though it was written in Serbian. A little bit further in the pressing of it, we can go to the PDF version and we'll see if the PDF version also allows the English as well. Let us see if. All right, wonderful. So to answer your question, Mr. Thomas, yes, it does translate. I have a translated version here. So I'm recommending to students, press a little forward. If you see an article that is not written in English initially, meaning the title or aspects of it, try to click it and possibly the database will translate it for you, or there's a translated version inside the database already that you can have access to. In the case here, we do have one that is actually translated. Fair enough? For convenience, we can, if you look on the extreme left here where my cursor is, we have various ways of doing this. We can export information from it, and when I click export, you see this changes and it's asking me what do I export. I can export the citation, I can export other aspects of it if it is that you're interested in that aspect of it. We can also choose to cite it. So if we click the cite here, it gives us various citations of the same article. So there are several citations for the same article: Chicago Author Date, Harvard, Harvard Australian, Notes Bibliography, Emily 8th, and Vancouver. So once you click here, you'll see the respective citations for the article. This makes sometimes the work of the researcher easier. I'm also recommending to students that once you see an article that you're interested in or that you might take something from, please document the name of the article and the author's name. Even if it is that you didn't get the rest of the bibliography data, please take the name of the author, the name of the journal itself, or the title of the article itself, and the year. It makes for easy retrieval once you have completed your paper and you're checking to include your respective citations and giving credit for the work that others would have done. And that also helps for you not to be penalized when your assignment and or research paper is submitted through Turnitin, which is a plagiarism detection software. I would not want it to be misrepresented that you were actually trying to plagiarize when I genuinely know that you were not. So please be mindful of that aspect. There's also saving it to your folder. There's also emailing the document to yourself, and we know the usual printing and saving to a drive, a Google Drive. So those are options that are available to you students here. Fair enough?
Wonderful, yes.
Wonderful. So that is it for this article. Let me go back to our results listing here. As you guys are aware, the more information that you're presented with and the more information that you present to the database, it's the more precise it gives you in terms of information. It's precision in terms of getting you the information that you need without the lot of fluff and the extra fat and all the things that you don't need. It just gives you exactly what you need once you have inputted the correct data. This is one database. Now, let's say you wanted something else that will show you how to access more than one using two topics. If you don't mind, Mr. Thomas, can you provide me with two other subject terms?
Performance management and strategy.
And like I mentioned, performance management, and it came up, and you said, and strategy?
Well, all right, performance management and employee engagement. We're looking at one right here. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. You guys notice the employment of the Boolean operator A and D, and. So it is an amalgamation tool. What I'm saying to the database is, I want you to give me everything that you have on performance management as well as employee engagement. So the employment of this Boolean operator, as librarians call it, it helps to join two phenomenons or join two terms together to give you one result. So as long as the document would have both and or one, you will get the information from. For this results listing here, we have 49 results. We have 49 articles. Like we had said before, we can choose to limit our search, which our limiters are already still employed on our database. So if we decided that, hey, for this database or for this search, I didn't want to limit it to that time period, let me change that. It will now expand it outside of the 10 years gap that we would have asked it for. So I took it up. Let me just take this off. Yes. It will now expand it to all the results. And we just realized that we now went up to 62. We had from 2004. What if we were going further? I am not recommending, let me say that again, I am not recommending students go outside of that year gap. If it's extreme cases and you need to understand the historical representation of stuff, then yes, I would understand that. But please be current and use current information, current/authoritative information. Also, if you decided that you wanted to limit, take off full text, and I don't want full text only. I don't want it to limit only to full text. I might get information from an HTML file, or my information might be available from an HTML file that I'm not considering. So I'm shafting myself in that process to limit myself to only full text document. And if I uncheck full text there, let us see how much our results listing would have been increased to 203. So this is the reverse of what we did before. Now, it is for you students to flex your muscle in that regard, having the requisite knowledge of how the system works and how respective aspects of the system works for you. So you can choose to limit, you can choose to expand. An amalgamation, as we said before, is the A and D. We have different Boolean operators that we would sometimes employ. Boolean operators, like I said before, allows for persons to gain access directly to information without the fluff, without the additional information. What if I wanted stuff on performance management or employee engagement? So I want you to give me performance management. And if you don't have performance management, employee engagement, it's like I walk inside of a store and I said to them, I want red pea soup. But if you don't have it, I will take the lentils. But I'd prefer. So what the system does is it ranks your query based on how you asked it. Give me performance management, the red pea soup, not or employee relations. So if you don't have this one, I'll take this one. But my preference is this one. Fair enough? So that's how it interprets your request and then works on your request to give you back your result. So let us see what we got in terms of our resource listing. And to be fair, yes, I know your eyes just went up a while ago when you saw 55,595. This is an expanding tool used by libraries. It does not limit your query because it is giving you two phenomenons and all the information available on both phenomena. So, saying that in layman terms, you're asking it for two different subject areas or keywords. It's giving you both. So it's giving you one first and then giving you the other. Or it's giving you both an amalgamative feature, meaning if both keywords are present in a document, it would give you those set of documents first, then it gives you your first subject term in a hierarchical ranking. So from what we did there, 55,595, it's not humanly possible for you to go through all of this, given the fact that you have time frames with numerous assignments. So I'm encouraging you to employ the usage of our Boolean operators, of our limiters on the side here to get precision. If you realize as well, I might have glanced over aspects of it. There are limiters to the respective database that you want to use. Sometimes a multidisciplinary database will give you access to other holdings because they are sharing information. Some overlap in terms of the information that they provide. So instead of you reinventing the wheel and going over to 6, 7, 8 different databases, then you can tell it here that I only want the information from this database. The option is there for you to peruse and employ any one of these that I'm scrolling on your left here at your convenience. Humbly, I'm asking for you to employ them effectively. You can use all, you can use one, you can use some. The option is up to you for efficacy to foster reduction in time spent searching for stuff when you actually need the time to go through the document itself. So this is using one database. We have several other electronic databases available that are multidisciplinary. However, the beauty about using these databases, they are predominantly the same in terms of the approach to gain access as well as searching these databases. Saying that again, all or multidisciplinary databases, the access points are similar. Searching the database, the Boolean operators, the limiters, they are similar. The difference is, the material difference is that the interface might be a little bit different and how the information is presented to you will be a little bit different. But once you employ the Boolean operators as they are and the various limiters as they are, then you should smooth navigation for you should have. Let me point out something before. Go ahead, Ms. Thomas.
I was saying point it out, but I was saying as proof of that, can we just look at ProQuest, say?
No problem. Before I go, on this side here, the database is sometimes acts as a, young people conventionally call it a rich auntie or a rich uncle. This is somebody that is guiding you. That's not a parent, so to speak, but they sometimes spoil you in regards. So your aunt will come to you and present a sweet or present some money to you in an envelope. That's not something that conventionally your parent would do. So what the database does in that regard is they would say, hey, Ms. Thomas, I know you did not ask me for this, but based on the nature of your search, I realize that the information here can be of benefit to you. So what the database does is it highlights to you that there are other information that you are not considering. So it says to you, hey, you didn't ask me, but I know this information might be of importance to you. So based on the algorithm, it preempts you, it highlights you, it outlines to you that there are information that you are not considering and you can find out more on it. So what is on your left, what is on your immediate right, sorry, is more information. What is on your left limits you. What's on your immediate extreme right gives you information to other information that you are not considering. What's inside the middle is limited based on what is on the left. Fair enough?
Yes.
All right, so we will segue into, let's close this window here and segue into ProQuest. And we'll start again from the same window. ProQuest, we'll search for P for ProQuest, and we will double click ProQuest, or subscribe content, and we'll double click for our subscribe content, and I'll open this up. I'll stop sharing that screen and I'll start sharing this one again. ProQuest, and like before, we'll click advance and we'll select the link underneath. And I'm reminding persons again, you do not need to sign in to a database. You are only required to sign in to UWI. If a database is asking for you to put in a password and or student ID number, do not put that in, please. All databases are already logged in through the university and or the library. The only database that you would be required to do that are databases that are attached to the Faculty of Law. If it is that you need that information or information from that department, I'm humbly asking for you to send an email to the respective librarians at the Law Branch Library, and they will provide you with access to. All right, so we are on ProQuest, another multidisciplinary.
Sociology of the Caribbean, because I want to see if there is a lot of Caribbean material in the library.
That's fine, that's fine. Sociology. Can you repeat for me, please? Sociology?
So sociology of the Caribbean.
Of the Caribbean, sorry.
Or family, like families in the Caribbean, something like that. But I wanted to see if it had Caribbean.
Sociology of the Caribbean. So I put in sociology of the Caribbean to see what comes up. All right, there we go. Wonderful. So
I think we're both relieved.
the beauty. Let me see if you pick up, Ms. Thomas, from this page here, what's the material difference with this database and the other one. All right, I'm not big on the suspense, so let me tell you. You realize that I'm a man, so I'm supposed to be colorblind. So it's supposed to be a yellowish, orangish thing that highlights the subject terms that we asked it for. And it took Caribbean and it took sociology and it highlighted them in the documents. If you notice on all of them, it highlights the phenomena that you asked it for. So this database is basically saying, I know you don't have a lot of time to waste, so I'm telling you where the information is, and I'll take you directly to it. So yes, to answer your question straightforward, the library hosts information on Caribbean, specifically sociology Caribbean, or Caribbean sociology, or information for sociology from the Caribbean, whichever might apply. And we are, as we indicated before, the limiters are on your left. So to answer the question that was asked originally, yes, the information is similar. Yes, how you navigate is similar. Yes, how you don't narrow down, the information is similar, as well as the information that is presented to you on this side that you might not ask for. And I'll double check.
Could you click it? Because yes.
I will. I'm clicking it for purposes of display. And this here shows citation and abstract. If you notice on this side here, it highlights to you the citation and the abstract of the respective work. And here we go. So this, as indicated before, was citation and abstract. Here's the information.
And if we wanted full text, we would have to have
limit it
text
around the other side. Yes, we would have to. Similarly, this here, the same printing, the same emailing, the same downloading, the same citing, or same getting the citation information is available to you.
So if students wanted a textbook that a lecturer has recommended in class,
yes,
how do they get that from the library? Can they get that online, or do they have to do the curbside pickup?
Yes, and yes/no. Let us close off these. So we're back at the library. Let me go to the library's homepage again. Library. Here we go. Library. While it loads, students will use the UWI link system to find a book and then send the request through one of any medium that they so choose. For the Law Branch Library and for the liaison departments that I am attached to, we provide contact numbers, we provide cell phone numbers. For the respective main library and other branches, information might not be that cell phone, but you will get an email address and you will get email address for the librarians at the main library, as well as a general reference email address. So here is UWI link. When you click
the other thing is that, remember, you're going to be in every single course container, certainly in the HRD program and perhaps in the wider sociology. But students will have access to you in every single course shell.
Yes. One second, Miss Thomas, please. So for the library's page, we get, when you're borrowing books from a library, you can choose to click the UWI link here, or you can go directly to the library's page. Now, for UWI link itself, what is required of you, as we said before, for you to log in, for you to search for books, you don't have to log in, but to see certain information, you will have to log in. So please, can you provide me with a title of a publication that you would recommend to students for usage? Ms. Thomas?
Handbook of Applied Social Research Methods.
Handbook of Applied Research Methods, and we select search.
Applied Social Research Methods.
Oh, Applied Social Research, sorry. So it's Handbook of Applied.
Okay, or Handbook of Qualitative Research. That one is widely used across the department. Handbook of Qualitative Research.
So Handbook of Qualitative Research.
You ask for more information, it would be Benzin and Lincoln editors.
That's okay, thank you. All right, so before I execute the search, if you realize on the side here, it says search all. Like I indicated to you, if we select search all, it will search every single campus and or entity that the university holds that is connected to UWI link. So that's a good thing. And in our case that we want limited information, a bad thing. So what we're asking for you is to limit to the respective campus. And we'll say limit to UWI collections. And then when that happens, you will be presented with two other options and we'll select Mona campus. So we only want information that is available at Mona campus. Notwithstanding that fact, let me explain why. Some borders are closed, so we might not be able to facilitate interlibrary loans from other of our sister campuses. So the purpose of display to what we have here is why I'm doing that. So Handbook of Qualitative Research. And we click search. And we have 21 results. And yes, we have your book here, number 1. There's also the SAGE Handbook of Qualitative Research, Strategies of Qualitative Inquiry. So all this information is available, presented to you. So yes, like we said before, the information you can limit what you want here. So on the library's page, you limit on this side. So yes, we do have your book and it's available in open collection. I now need to sign back in for me to get more information. So let me sign in again for me to know if we have a digital version of it to answer that part of the question, or you'd have to pick it up at a curbside. Some books you will have to pick up at a curbside. Right. Some books you can pick up at the curbside, some we have the digital version of it. And be mindful that sometimes you have the digital version, but others are using the book or using the access at that juncture, so you might not be able to use it how you wanted to.
So then is there a reservation system that you have?
Yes, they can log on and they can reserve the book once it gets back into the holdings, meaning the time frame for that person has elapsed. And when you click locations here, it will tell you where and how it is located. And yes, it even goes as far as to tell you if the book is already borrowed. So this book is borrowed, it's out of the library. Though it's an open shelf book, it's out of the library. So we can't issue it as a hold on requests for that book. So there's a hold on that.
Hold means that somebody else is
using it, so they might not be able to. They might not be able to use it at the same time, or the book is out. Somebody has the book.
Is there any chance that at some point you'll be integrated in the smaller libraries, for instance, the Salisa's Doc Center or anything like that?
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Thomas. I
was asking if there was any chance that at some point you'd be integrated into the smaller libraries. So for instance, the Salisa's Doc Center.
If we would integrate with them, is that, I didn't hear that correctly.
Yes, because I know, for instance, we might have other copies of that book in the Salisa's Doc Center. So it's not recorded here in the library. So how would a student know that if we didn't tell them?
Salisa's is not, let me try to be 100% clear. Salisa's is manned by librarian at Salisa's. So our collection like this is not, their collection is not on our collection. So Salisa's is a separate entity from the library. So if I request for a material from Salisa's, it will have to be made as an interlibrary loan, meaning we as a library ask on it for the student's behalf, or the student would have to go directly to Salisa's to get it on their own.
Okay, well, also just to be clear then, for the purposes of HRD students, there are a lot of the books, most of the books that you would need for our program would be available in the Salisa's library. We've tried to replicate the collection in the main library, so you should find most of the books in the main library as well. So if they only had 2 books and the 2 books in the main library were out, you could try the Salisa's Doc Center to see if you could find a 3rd copy of the book.
Yes,
and just for information for the students.
Yes, wonderful. And for further information, like we said, this can be procured directly from Salisa's or asked for through the main library. The latter is a little bit longer because clearly there's another prong added to collecting this information and requesting this information. So the time frame for turnover will be shorter if the student goes directly, as opposed to the library getting an email and then forwarding that request to Salisa's and then responding, getting a response from Salisa's and then responding to the student. So it might be a little more time consuming in that regard.
But of course, it's wonderful if it is a book that I want to borrow from Cave Hill or St. Augustine. So it's still a fantastic thing that you guys are doing interlibrary loans.
Yes, it is. But also for information purposes, our sister campuses, some are not fully opened yet. So we might not be able to get all materials from, that's 1. 2, we might not be able to get all material or any material within the stipulated time frame that the student would require. This is a completely different country and with specific rules on borders in terms of for COVID. So we cannot fully say yes, we might be able to procure the book for the person in an interlibrary loan at this juncture. Hence one of the reasons why I condensed mine to Mona Library.
But you've raised an important point though. If it is that somebody was doing a serious piece of research, for instance, one of our lecturers, and needed something from Cave Hill or St. Augustine, how much notice would we need to give you?
Be honest, I couldn't give you a stipulated time frame. Let's say you'd send me that request today, and I would forward it to the person who coordinates the interlibrary loan, and they would immediately, and all of this is bearing in mind that this is happening within minutes, meaning you forward me an email with at 1:05, I forward that same email with the instructions at 1:06, and the interlibrary loans officer forward the email immediately afterwards at 1:07. It would be up to the library staff there for their turnover time in terms of what it is that is on ground. I couldn't accurately say there is a 5-day or a 3-day, especially now with the pandemic. Before we had a grace period, but now with the pandemic, time frame is actually thrown out the window.
What was the grace period before?
Well, initially we had up to 2 weeks. You could get that material, especially if it's from overseas, given the travel time. So we had maximum 2 weeks. We had up to minimum 3 to 5 days.
And if somebody got a book under those terms, how long could they keep the book? So I've waited 2 weeks for the book. How long do I get to keep it after that?
Little white come up. Sorry. How long would I?
How long would I get to keep the book? I've waited 2 weeks for it. How long do I get to keep and use?
Well, it's depending on the level of the student. Students oftentimes have 3-day loans. Lecturers have a more flexible time. It's based on the discretion of the librarian and or the person issuing at the time. So lecturers, especially for course preparation, they have leeway. They can get a book for a month, 2 months, or even for up to the end of the semester based on the availability of that book and the number of copies available to supplement teaching. But naturally, if it is for the course, then understanding would have to be, somebody would have to take into consideration that aspect of it.
All right, one other little question also. If I am taking a book off the open shelf, I have that for 2 weeks. If I take a book from overnight loan, I have it overnight. What are the different time periods?
So if there's an overnight loan 1 day, so you bring it back, you borrow it today, bring it back overnight. There's 3-day loan, and they're based on graduate students, they have books sometimes for up to a month, depending on the, when you said open shelf, so they can have that for up to a month. If it's an RBC book, it's based again on the librarian flexing their discretion, giving you further usage of that book. So you can have it for up to a week, 2 weeks, based on the librarian extending the time. And 2, let us bear in mind that you can borrow a book for a week, and after 4 days of having the book, you realize that you will need it for longer. You can just send an email indicating that you're asking for extension on the book itself, and they extend the loan period to you. So let's say you bought a 3-day book, and on day 2, you realize that you need a lot more information from it. A simple email to the librarian or the library staff, they can extend that for possibly another 2 or 3 days for you based on what you would need or the time frame that you would need. If it's an open shelf book, they can extend it for possibly another week or 2 based on the understanding between yourself and the library staff.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all. So that's wonderful to know.
There are material from the West Indies and Special Collections. Even though that was not asked, I will still answer that question. West Indies and Special Collections posted, as we all know, that you would conventionally have to go there with a pencil and a piece of paper and write what you need. They are in a bid trying to digitize material to ensure that they're accessible online, and or in certain cases, persons are given permission to visit, depending on the situation and depending on the staff on ground. So yes, persons can still get an opportunity to visit a section, it's depending on the gravity and need of that person. Saying that in layman's terms, if a lecturer would require consultation on certain material, they can get access to go to the main library or a branch and sit and peruse using those materials.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the next thing we wanted to talk about was the rental system that you have. I know that you can rent laptops, and so can you just tell us the process and what you have?
Well, borrow actually, not renting.
Oh,
so let's be clear, we actually have tablets, we have Chromebooks, and we have laptops free of charge for students for the duration of the semester for their programs. So let us say that again. students can, through their respective departments, indicate their desire to borrow a tablet, a Chromebook, or a laptop from the university library for the duration of the semester. So it is issued to you at the start of the semester or any interval that you ask for it, and then it is brought back, or you should bring it back at the end of the semester. Some are equipped with SD cards, etc., etc. All you would just need to do is just use it, clear the information from it when you're sending it back to the library, and if you want another one the following semester, the privilege is awarded onto you. So, other than our curbside pickup, where you can ask for us to scan documents to you or photocopy documents to you and drop them down at the curbside location and you pick them up, other than you emailing and having your material brought to you again through curbside, we have these services that you can exploit. The Ask a Librarian is one, and recommending students to effectively use, exploit it. There are persons here who are tasked to be on that for the duration of the day. As a matter of fact, there are persons who are tasked to be on it when students are, when we are offline. So even though we are not live chat, there are persons getting the message at the same time and are responding through emails to these requests. So if you have any issue, citation, locating materials, no matter the, even if it is just to ask what time the library opens and closes, you can use these medium to get to the library. Fair enough?
Fair enough, but you rushed right through that thing about the laptops. Can you just tell me what students need to do? So my laptop has crashed in the middle of the semester. Who do I talk to? Do I talk to my department? Who do I talk to? What are the steps to get one from the library?
So step one, your laptop has crashed. Step two, you indicate to the department that you're in. So a lecturer or a course coordinator or the head of department, somebody in the department who can verify that you are a registered student in the university at that juncture. So you would indicate to that person through email or whatever medium employed by that department, indicating your desire, and then the respective lecturer, course coordinator, and or head of department will forward that request to their liaison or to the public services team, asking for a laptop to be issued to the student for the duration of the semester. The laptop is then issued on the student's ID number, so the student would need to provide in the email their ID number, their name, and the faculty to the department, which the department would already know, but this information is needed for the library to put it on the student's ID. So this laptop, Chromebook, or tablet is considered along the same line as a book. It is checked out on your ID, and the students, if it is that they don't return it at a particular time, the charges are allocated just the same for overdue on the account of the student. So for those who might have missed it, step one, you speak to your department, indicating your desire, highlighting your student ID number, your name, and your desire to borrow one of these materials. Two, the department's course rep, the department's course coordinator, and or lecturer can send that request to the library's liaison librarian or directly to the main library on behalf of the student, indicating that they need that material. The student will be contacted, as well as the department will be contacted to indicate that the request is processed and the timing for the student to pick up that laptop, Chromebook, or tablet.
And you mentioned something, that you treat these like books. And earlier on, you said that you had an amnesty for persons who had things outstanding. I wanted students to understand that if there is a library charge, so if you haven't brought your books back and you're charged, if you haven't brought your laptop back and you're charged, you can't graduate, you can't do anything because the university sees that as you owing the university money. So it is important, even these might seem like small charges, but you can't go anywhere, you can't graduate, you can't do anything if you don't pay them off or return the things on time so that you don't incur these charges to begin with.
Yes, so that is why as
I don't want to
perspective,
issue threats, but it is important for people to know.
yes, yes. But let us remind students again of the time frame. We have a library amnesty at least once per year. So there's a time frame for this. We would have started at a particular, well, we were ending at a particular time, July 31st. So as long as you have material that you borrowed during the course of the year and you did not get to return it because of whatever reason, COVID attached, whatever reason the reason may be, the library is giving you the opportunity to just come, return the material, and we clear your account. Please, students, exploit these opportunities made available to you, because sometimes, like it was said, this is the difference between you collecting your certificate at a particular time and you not collecting your certificate at a particular time. Fair enough?
Very clear, very, very clear. Well said.
Wonderful.
Well, if that is it, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming here and explaining to the students. This is a video that is in our, it will be in our 2021 orientation. But given the information here, I think we'll also post it so that even returning students will have access. Because I've been with the university for many years and I'm learning new things. I believe that it would be useful for them as well. So thank you so much, Mr. Duncan. Thank you very much for coming. And as I said, I'm reminding students that you'll have access to Mr. Duncan and all of our course shells in HRD and perhaps in other places as well.
And for the purposes of, I will, and Ms. Thomas also has my email address. I'll put it in the chat, or so that persons can see.
Adrian.duncan02 at uwimona.edu.jm.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So I am typing it as well. At uwimona.edu.jm. And I am free to speak with you. Thank you so much for having me. It was indeed a pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming to us. I'm sure that the students and the staff, everybody will be quite intrigued by what you've had to say. And we will promise them that you'll be back another day to explain APA citation, since this is what we use in the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work for the main part, because social work, psychology, and HRD all use APA. Sociologists use something else, but we will work on APA for the majority of the students. Okay, so thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you later this week.
You're welcome.